On December 12, 2015, it took just 13 seconds and one swipe of Conor McGregor's left hand to make history at UFC 194. The fastest title fight KO ever propelled McGregor's already rising stardom to meteoric heights as he dethroned the greatest 145er of all time in sensational fashion. If Jose Aldo had managed to get the win on that night, the MMA world wouldn't be as we see it now. One fight lasting just 13 seconds has changed MMA history, and here's how. Firstly, the most obvious direct impact of a result reversal is that Jose Aldo remains the greatest featherweight ever. The clips of the knockout loss to McGregor are used to diminish the achievements of Aldo, but take them away and there is nothing left except Aldo racking up wins and big finishes of his own. By managing to derail the McGregor hype train, he simply added another body to his incredible record, which improves to 19 and continues his 10-year unbeaten run. Fresh off a big win against master game player Conor McGregor, Jose Aldo may have found himself on a hot streak, continuing to pick off title contenders one by one until Max Holloway comes along. The size, reach, cardio and output of Max Holloway causes even the best Jose Aldo all sorts of problems, and by taking away McGregor's slice of history, we can only amplify the achievements of Holloway. Back-to-back TKO finishes over a man who was undefeated for so long would have caused shock across the entire MMA world. The three-man roster for the greatest 145er now becomes two. Max Holloway still has some work to do if he wants to better the achievements of Jose Aldo. The last thing you'd think of doing after a loss at 145 is heading up to welterweight to take on a guy like Nate Diaz. Overconfident from an incredible hot streak, Conor McGregor dared to be great in a short notice matchup with the popular Nate Diaz. The fight saw Diaz beat up and tap McGregor, who was previously undefeated in the UFC. This win paved the way for a mega rematch which broke records and made both fighters a ton of money. A 5-round war ensued and it was one of the best fights you could ever wish to see. The star of Nate Diaz had risen to undeniable heights. Long disrespected by the UFC, he is now considered one of the biggest stars in the sport. Without that fight, we likely see Nate Diaz continue to feel unappreciated as a martial artist, and certainly underpaid for his incredible fighting abilities. The first two-weight world champion in the company's history was Conor McGregor. By that point, he had reached superstardom. Without his push to be a two-weight champion, we wouldn't have seen any other double champions. The huge KO of Aldo, followed by a record-breaking rivalry of Nate Diaz, had cemented McGregor as not only the biggest star in MMA, but perhaps of all of combat sports. He wanted to hold two belts, so the UFC gave him the unprecedented opportunity to do so. This opportunity would have been impossible to obtain had he not got by Jose Aldo. Not only does flipping the script on their match change this piece of history, it changes the history of all dual title holders to come. The entire Conor McGregor vs Floyd Mayweather crossover bout was sold primarily on the scary power held in the hands of the former UFC champion. The prime evidence of his power is of course the clip of him starching Jose Aldo in record-breaking time. If we take away this clip, add another loss to McGregor's record, and take into account all the other pieces of history that would be changed, we are never seeing an MMA boxing crossover fight come to fruition. Just 13 seconds and one punch is all it took to change so much in MMA and combat sport history. A brief look into how a Jose Aldo win back at UFC 194 could have changed the landscape of sport shows us this. From a direct impact on McGregor and Aldo's legacies, to indirectly shaping the future of the sport, this fight had some of the biggest implications of any fight in MMA history. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to check out the Post-Fight MMA Patreon page to support this channel in another way. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Thanks for watching.